Hi, and welcome to Brighton Memorial Library's Book Bites, bite-sized book reviews from your BML staff. I'm Matt Bayshore, Adult Services Librarian, and I'm going to talk about some of the most anticipated books for June of 2020, some of which might lighten your spirits, and some that might enlighten your mind. The first is Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell, the long-awaited new novel from the bestseller prize-winning author of Cloud Atlas and The Bone Clocks. Utopia Avenue is the strangest British band you've never heard of. Emerging from London's psychedelic scene in 1967 and fronted by folk singer Elf Holloway, blues bassist Dean Moss, and guitar virtuoso Jasper DeZoet, Utopia Avenue embarked on a meteoric journey from the seedy clubs of Soho, a TV debut on Top of the Pops, the cusp of chart success, glory in Amsterdam, prison in Rome, and a fateful American journey in the Chelsea Hotel, Laurel Canyon, and San Francisco during the autumn of 1967. David Mitchell's kaleidoscopic novel tells the unexpurgated story of Utopia Avenue's turbulent life and times, and asks, can we really change the world, or does the world change us? Publishers Weekly said Mitchell makes the best use of his familiar elements, from reoccurring characters to an innovative narrative structure, delivering more fun, more mischief, and more heart than ever before. This is Mitchell at his best. Next is The Persuasion by Iris Johansen. It's another in the Eve Duncan series. Forensic sculptor Eve Duncan and ex-Navy SEAL Joe Quinn are about to give Seth Caleb their trust for the most important duty of his life, keeping their daughter Jane safe at any cost. Her talent as an artist has caught the attention of a brilliant psychopath with a violent past. Seth, Jane's strongest ally and fiercest protector, is determined to keep her out of danger, but that becomes nearly impossible when Jane is forced to take matters into her own hands and confronts the madman who wants it for herself and wants Seth Caleb dead. As Jane and Seth chase down their bloodthirsty adversary, they finally commit to a life together, and the culmination of the epic love story that fans have been eagerly anticipating. As the two come face together with danger, one thing is made clear. It will take both of them working together to confront and defeat this evil. Publishers Weekly said, those who like their romance suspense with a dash of paranormal will be pleased, and Booklist says a satisfying balance between electrifying action and emotional intensity. Tom Clancy's Firing Point, a Jack Ryan novel by Mike Madden. While on vacation in Barcelona, Jack Ryan Jr. is surprised to run into an old friend at a small cafe. At first, Renee Moore seems unsurprised to see Jack, but then she just seems irritated and distracted. After making plans to meet her later, Jack leaves, only to miss the opportunity to ever speak to Renee again, as the cafe is destroyed in minutes by a suicide bomber. A desperate Jack plunges back into the ruins to save his friend, but it's too late. As she dies in his arms, she utters one word, Samler. Jack Ryan Jr. is out to avenge the murder of an old friend, but the vein of evil he's tapped into may run too deep for him to handle the latest electric entry in the #1 New York Times best-selling series. Kirkus Review says fast action and dead bodies are bound in this enjoyable bit of hero worship. Next is a great summer read, Summer Deal by Jill Chavez. From the New York Times best-selling author Jill Chavez comes the friends to frenemies to lovers story. Add in a few secrets, shake, stir, and then read on a lazy summer day at the beach. Publishers Weekly says readers will find it easy to root for Chavez's stubborn, vulnerable heroines, to recognize both the decency and compassion of the sexy men who love them, and their own worthiness to be loved. This heartfelt tale is thoroughly satisfying. And for those of you missing your local watering hole during this social distancing, here's a book that you might fancy. It's Love by Booker Prize-winning author Roddy Doyle. Two old friends reconnect in Dublin for a dramatic, revealing evening of drinking and storytelling. Davy and Joe were drinking pals back in their Dublin youth, and Davy rarely sees Joe for a pint anymore. Maybe one or two, but when Davy comes over from England to check out on his elderly father. But tonight, Davy's father is dying in the hospice, and Joe has a secret that will lead to the two on a bender back to the haunts of their youth. Publishers Weekly says this witty, satisfying novel about male friendship, aging, and guilt from Doyle dramatizes language's inadequacies when it comes to the affairs of the heart. The two men are nothing if not good company. This one is a winner. Finally, for those nonfiction fans, I have The Great Migration, The Beauty of Terror and Life on the Move by Sonia Shah. Far from being a disruptive behavior to be quelled at any cost, migration is an ancient and life-saving response to environmental change, a biological imperative as necessary as breathing. Climate changes triggered the first human migrations out of Africa. Falling sea levels allowed their passage across the Bering Sea. Unhampered by barbed wire, migration allowed our ancestors, the people of the planet, catapulting us into the highest reaches of the Himalayan mountains and the most remote islands of the Pacific, creating and disseminating the biological, cultural, and social diversity that ecosystems and societies depend on. In other words, migration is not the crisis, it's the solution. A prize-winning journalist upends our centuries-long assumptions about migration through science, history, and reporting, predicting its life-saving power in the face of climate change. Kirkus Review says, a scientifically sophisticated, well-considered contribution to the literature of movement and environmental change. All of these books should be soon available as ebooks or audiobooks through our Overdrive system. You need to go to www.brightonlibrary.org and click ebooks. Thank you, and happy reading.